The beginning of a new era, the worst fantasy football league. Today, I want to kind of go through how I see the evolution of this league happening and ask everybody who is provided this video if they feel like coming along for the ride or not. Today's agenda is going to cover why are we doing something new? What is DFS if you don't know what it is? I'll give you a high-level overview of some of the changes and nuances, talk a little bit about the finances, and then kind of go over some new shit. So, first and foremost, why something new? Well, the great growth that we've had as a league has made the following things happen more consistently over the last couple of years, and I'm kind of sick of it. Your draft position and the outcome of the draft oftentimes can make or break your season. So if you don't draft well, you pretty much suck a dick the rest of the year. Roster spots become parking lots for people, and the waiver wire then bears little fruit, so you can't really transaction your way out of a mess. And then if you have a key injury to one of your premier wide receivers or running backs, then that can kill your season as well. This has happened a lot in the last few years, and I think primarily is due to the size of the league. 14-team leagues are really difficult to manage, and I think everybody can appreciate the impetus for this conversation. So what is the future? So if you don't know what daily fantasy sports is, DFS, traditionally there is standard fantasy football, and then DFS is what you would see on places like FanDuel and DraftKings. This is the concept of being able to draft a team with a budget of money and then, gamble, if you will, on a week-to-week basis. So I think traditional fantasy football is actually kind of dying a slow death since those things have come around. I know many of the people in this league and other leagues I'm in, they do use FanDuel and DraftKings to augment their experience with fantasy football, especially if their team in a certain league stinks and they're never going to win and they can't get anybody off the waiver wire and blah, blah, blah. It gives them something to fight for every week. FanDuel or DraftKings allows you to get up at noon on Sunday, draft a full team, and then drop into a room with 100 randos whenever you want, as long as you get in there before kickoff. So my concept here was me trying to wrap my head around how do I get like the best of both worlds and sort of kind of merge them to one incredible league. Like that's the idea here, right? High level overview. I want to be able to allow everybody in the league to every week pick a brand new lineup from a pool of players with a budget, just like DraftKings or FanDuel. But I also want you to still be able to go head to head in a weekly schedule against people in the league, because I think that's important to maintain some sort of camaraderie with everybody. Like I definitely want to have the battle of the Dans or the battle of brothers or best friends. I think that's important, or husband and wife in my case. And I think really, honestly, merging these things are going to allow you sort of to use more strategy. Is you kind of have to think about how to spend your money each week and what players will matter to you week to week. Some of the similarities between what we're doing today in the league is I want to do the old 2 wins, 2 losses every week, just like we have been. So you go head to head, you get a win or a loss. But then if you score in the top 50% of points each week, you get another win. Inversely, if you score shitty every week, you get another loss. I'm also thinking that the roster composition is kind of good where it's at with 8 positions. No fucking kickers, no. But I do like the flexibility of a flex in lieu of a stagnant tight end position. I think like having some freedom there to use heavy running backs if you want to, or use all wide receivers if you want to. I like that flexibility, so I want to kind of keep that the same. I still want a PPR league. I transferred over the scoring mechanism from ESPN, so it's very much the same scoring. And then also I want the league to be 14 weeks, just like it is, with playoffs being the following 3 weeks before the last week of the season. And your win-loss record will determine your playoff slots and seedings, and we will reseed in the playoffs like we do today. And of course, tiebreakers are going to be based on points for or points scored during the year. So all that stays the same as it is today. The major differences are going to be we don't need a waiver wire. We don't need trading. We don't need injured reserve. All places that are fucking headaches for everybody who's in the league and for commissioners. The trading one just blows. Like we don't have a ability really for me to veto a trade. But we've all had trades where people feel a little bit weird about the trade. They feel a little lopsided, and they have to kind of infer what people wanted to do and all that bullshit. And I don't want to do that anymore. I'm too old for it. I can't do it. We're also going to be picking the same players. So the player pool is universal. So you might have an instance where, two idiots want to play Aaron Rodgers every week, and they might face each other and both be playing Aaron Rodgers. Now, the downside to that is who cares? Like, that's the net zero. Whether they score 100 points or nothing, it crosses each other out. So I think mathematically it's impossible for two teams to randomly pick the same exact roster, but I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. I know that this kind of functionality has been happening in FanDuel and DraftKings, where they have little leagues where you can do this in there, but you're playing everybody each week, not head to head. So that's why I'm choosing not to use them. But I think that they kind of know that statistically it's really rare that somebody would pick the entire same team. And then, like I mentioned, I'm transporting a lot of the same things from ESPN into here, but we're done with ESPN. I don't think they've kept up with their offerings. Everybody complains about every service, so I'm sure the new platform I'm moving to, people will hate it too. But the new platform is customizable, and I like that. So I'll kind of go over that a little bit in this video too, and show you what the new website looks like. Okay, at this point, you might be saying to yourself, I hate change, and this sounds stupid. Okay, go ahead and quit. No hard feelings. For real, I do not care if anybody's in this league. If you don't want to be in it, don't be in it. I'm not territorial about it. I'm not like, oh my God, I'll never talk to you again. It's not for everybody. What I think we need to look at is evolving. This is an evolution. And where there are people today that want to leave, I have plenty of people that want to join. And I'm comfortable with letting everybody decide for themselves whether they want to do this or not. But before you go, let's talk about finances. So the entry fee I see staying at $200. I'm going to present the rest of these as a percentage of total prize pool, because if you haven't figured out by now, with this type of concept, I'm not stuck with 14 teams. If you leave, great. If I want to put 24 people in the league, great. The prize pool will just get bigger. As long as there's an even number, everybody has an opponent each week for the schedule mechanism, the more the merrier. So at the end of the year, whoever wins the Super Bowl gets 65% of the prize pool. The loser of the Super Bowl will get 25%. And I'm going to go ahead and shake off 10% for whoever shows that they know how to pick a good team every week and got the highest amount of points in the season. As we all know, points overall isn't indicative of record because a lot of lucky, fluky shit happens. Anyway, opportunity. Like I said, the league size is not restricted. More managers, more prize money. Woohoo! Equal footing for everybody. I think it's also kind of important to talk here that we have some co-manager situations that can remain. I'm fine with them staying in the league, or they can go away and everybody can have their own team. So I've kind of framed up within the website a version where I see no co-managers, but I'll leave it to everybody to determine whether they want to co-manage or they want to have their own team in this environment. But I think it's important to let some people who've left us who want to come back, like my sister Crystal, the opportunity to come back in. And so this kind of will allow that to happen without disrupting many things. Okay, in closing, new shit. I'm using myfantasyleague.com. The league ID's here. I'm going to spin it up for a second, show you what it looks like, just so you have a visual. There is an app for it. It looks like any traditional fantasy football app. You pick your lineup in there. You can make moves in there. So you do have the on-the-go ability to manage the team. You're not stuck with just managing it on the .com. So we'll see. I don't know much about this website. I don't know if it's great or not great, but from a cost perspective, it's affordable, and I'm paying the cost out of pocket. Which, side note, we have new trophies. The cost to ship the original trophy and to get those name plaques on it each year was coming out of my pocket. The nameplates now are up to like $30 for me to get your name engraved on a little black thing that you stick on that trophy. The trophy's been broken for being shipped so many times, so it's kind of got some crushes on some of the corners. And that thing costs 60 fucking plus dollars to ship to everybody each year. So I've gone the route of scaling down. I have two little trophies, and we'll pass these around the same way, and I don't mind covering the shipping on those. But you're going to get a toilet bowl to the biggest idiot in the league every year who has the lowest amount of points. And then the winner gets a little trophy for bragging. These are a visual of what they look like. All right, I'm going to jump out quick, show you the website. Okay, so the Worst Fantasy Football League, I have the little Eagles color scheme going. Everybody has their own ability to customize their color scheme, so don't get pissed off, Jim, because it's not red, white, and blue like your New York Giants. But you'll see I've gone ahead and sort of envisioned a world where the Mikes break apart, Daniel and Tommy break apart, and I've gone ahead and put everybody in here who's currently in the league or has been in the league. And like I said, I can add or subtract, and that's the point of me sending this video, is to sort of get a pulse check on who wants in, who wants out. Here's your weekly matchups based on, just what's out there now, but this would evolve. You got your schedule each week. You got your weekly summary, which we're used to seeing, those your wins, losses, your points for, and whatever information I want to put here. My team, it's got your typical information here. We don't really have it set up to start, so I can't really show you how to make a lineup and all that jazz, but it's pretty intuitive and pretty straightforward. I just wanted you to see, that it's not a piece of shit, and that it's real. All right, this thing doesn't really give you the opportunity to take Q&A at the end, which is unfortunate. So I'm going to leave you with, let me know how you feel once you've watched this video. You sticking with my new vision, or do you want to beat street?